How are you, sir?
Hello, bro. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Not too bad.
What's your name, brother?
My name is John.
John. Hi, John. You are on the Pandasi AKL TV YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So, John, I'm here to ask you some interview.
Yeah.
What do you want us to talk about? Do you want to talk the interview in English or in Swahili? Which one are you comfortable? Which language are you comfortable with?
I'm comfortable. I'm bilingual. I'm bilingual.
Yeah, Lembo.
I'm bilingual.
Lembo.
I speak many languages: French, English, Swahili.
Okay. So you want us to discuss in English or in Swahili?
In English, please.
In English. John, there's something which it disturbed my mind. And I reached on the point where that I don't understand what's going on in all the nations.
In the nations of Africa or countries of Africa. We were blaming white men, Europeans, that they are stealing our minerals. They are forcing us to work without salary. They are using us like slaves. Then our African countries claimed independence and offered us independence. But how come now, as we are governing or leading the leaders of our African countries, how come they can't? They take their own power for ages and ages. They can't change the power.
So do you think what's the problem of Africa?
The problem of Africa is very complicated. Because the leaders, they don't change their power. They keep saying, hey, they voted me. One day, they rigged it. They rigged.
So they rigged the election.
Corruption.
What's happened? Why? Why are they doing like that?
They are doing like that because they just want to be rich. But what the other nations or citizens are struggling, can't put food on the table. But for them, they can go overseas, take airplane and go for vacation. But low lifestyle people, they don't have that kind of opportunity. If their leaders are sick, they go to Europe for treatment, but they can't seek treatment in their own country.
Do you think that this one is the problem of the leadership?
Yeah, problem of leadership, and they are not, because in the Bible, they say that in the Bible they say the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Everyone wants to do his own things, think on his own interest. He doesn't think the nations are struggling. The government departments, the police, people who are supposed to be protecting the community, they are not given what they need. They just give them the weapon, that's it. They can't say the police will have a salary per month, nothing.
But John, don't you think that it's a poor management within African government? So, reason I'm asking you this: there's a word called the government.
Yeah.
There's the government in Western countries.
Yeah.
And there's the government in Eastern Africa.
Yeah.
Government, and they're all government.
Yeah.
Why don't the leader of Africa, they don't copy what the Western country they do? What's wrong with there?
We are not trained. When the colonial government European came to Africa, we didn't give them time to train us, to install the system which is gonna fight corruption, insecurity, everything. Just the system. They're gonna install everything. The system which is gonna fight for corruption, education. Everyone will be educated to go to school to learn.
Oh yeah.
Because when you are not going to school and there is election, they're gonna play your mind. You don't know what you are voting for. You don't know the constitution of the country. You don't know nothing. You just get to vote. So when you pass on the street, they give you a piece of bread, $1 to vote the person, to vote the candidate.
Okay. Hey,
Corruption. They play people's minds because when you are not educated, you don't know your right. How are you going to defend your rights and you are not educated?
Okay, now you are talking about the light.
It is
Tell me about
it is the poor.
Tell me about
the poor. For us Africans, we are rushing to kick out the Europeans and they haven't trained that enough. Only all they left us is Bible.
Bible.
The Bible, that's it. The Bible.
Yeah. So, guys, once again, my name is Joe West. Here is my
Muhura
John, and we are talking about the politics back to our nations, and to other nations as well. But kindly, please, if this is your first time to watch this video or to watch this interview, kindly do subscribe, share, and like. Don't forget to hit the notification that each time we post the video, you can't miss out. I thank you. Now, John, you talked about human rights in Africa. How is the human rights? Does the human people in Africa unstable, or how does it work in human rights in Africa?
There is no human right in Africa. There is no human right.
There's no human right.
Nothing. The authorities, African leaders, they don't care about the citizens' lifestyle. They don't care. But the country maybe have minerals, nothing. But they're not thinking. They're thinking for their own interest. They're not installing a system which gonna develop the economy, the security. They are feeding their own stomach. They're not feeding the stomach of the nations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We are very, very struggling in Africa. The leaders don't listen. We complain, they don't listen. But themselves, they walk in limousine. They will drive a hammer, and you are clap with their hands.
So what do you think the solution could be?
The solution, it is now too late.
It's too late.
It is too late. Because there is a word we say in French, si tu ne t'occupes pas de la politique va s'occuper de toi. Now too late. If you bring the white man back home to Africa, no late. Because there is a beginning and the end. If there is a bad beginning, the end will be bad. We should negotiate with African at that time, not fighting them.
Sorry to bother you and to ask you this question in the beginning. John, where do you come from?
I come from some places in the Congo Bukavu.
Congo Bukavu. Oh wow. Okay. Oh, that's good. It's nice to meet you, my brother.
Yeah,
and my name also is Joe West, and I come from North Congo.
Oh, okay.
From North Congo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is interesting time to talk about our politics back home. But nevertheless, right? Tell me about the healthcare in Africa. How does the healthcare affect the citizens in Africa?
The African, the healthcare of Africa. People who are poor, they are the people who can afford the medical bills. People who are poor, they go to hospital, the doctor can't look on them. They just die from there because everything is money. Money talks. There is no intervention in saying that this person has no money.
Is it the whole Africa or it's only the Congo?
The whole Africa.
The whole Africa.
The whole Africa. The whole Africa.
How is the infrastructure looks like in Africa?
The infrastructure is very horrible. Very horrible. It is dodgy. Everyone do his own things. Everyone thinks mind their own business. Mind his own business. That's it. If you want to steal, you steal. Nowhere to complain. Oh, I'm gonna report you to. We go to justice system. Anyway, you can bring your problem, but no, there is no justice system.
So, what's the point of having a government?
There is no point at all. We are just living like animals. Even the animals they have brains. Because animals, when they have children, they breastfeed them. They take the milk from the mother until they start eating the grass. But for us, nothing. We do only things.
So, how do you compare Western country system or Western country actual system to African government system? How do you compare those ones?
I can compare that.
How is the human rights in Western country?
Human rights here is very, very serious. Very, very serious. And they are caring. They care.
They care.
They care. They listen. If any incident happens, they review it and they prevent it to not happen to any other person. But for us, nothing. No education. You are just there to tell you how do you spell your name. You don't know. Write your 1, 2, 3. How much? Don't know. Counting. You don't know.
Thank you so much, John. You talked about the education.
Education.
How is the education in Africa? How does the education in Africa works? Does government of Africa has many schools, or how is the situation of the education?
The African education or schools, universities, it is private. The government, it is not the government's business. Someone who has money, he builds his own school. As long as he has enough money, he builds his own school, hire the teachers or the professors. He plan how he'll get how the student will pay school fees to the school, and that's the school fees which we gonna pay the teachers' salary.
Don't you think that is a problem?
It is very. It is not in the good system.
I mean, for the population?
No, it is not good because it's not everyone who gonna afford. If you have like 4 kids and you send them to school, you can't afford because the government doesn't step in.
Okay, now tell me about tell me about the employmentship in Africa. How does the employmentship work?
Employment, everything is dodgy. It has no structure. You're gonna be a teacher. There is no job contract or agreement, nothing. They just tell you, okay, your salary will be $20. No paper to sign, nothing. That's it.
But Western countries, they support the African government's money
to
help to improve their own atmosphere. Why don't they use those money?
There is UNICEF. It is just for helping people, just nothing else to do. Because if something has no beginning, it also has no end. If you start bad, that's it. The foundation. If you want to build the house, you have to put the foundation. Then you put the bricks, you put the roof, everything like that. But for us, our system, our justice, everything is broken down. Everyone doing his own things.
Okay, John, how is the jobs employment in the country you are living in?
Employment, whenever you work, they tell you how many hours you're gonna work, and they pay you per hour. You know everything that how much you're gonna be paying, you're gonna be receiving as a salary. You know the hours to work. You know your rights. If you are sick, how they can support you while you're on sick leave. If you go for annual leave, they still pay you while you are on leave. They step in. They know what they are doing. They are not stupid like or being coward.
Okay, hi guys, viewers out there, people who are subscribing and sharing these episodes. You are doing a very wonderful job, and we do appreciate it for your work. We don't take it for granted. So once again, my name is Joe West, but my YouTube channel is Pandasi HL. You are most welcome to send messages or to comment to any videos if you want to, or if you are free, wherever you're watching this video from. Now, another question which is coming through to you.
Yeah.
Tell me about the hospital in the country you're living in.
The hospital.
When you sick, what do you do? What the government do when you sick?
The hospital, everything, the system is working very, very perfect. The system is very, very powerful. You go to hospital, you are sick, They don't ask money straight away.
How does the police treat you when you commit the crime?
The police, they tell you your rights. You have an advocate or a lawyer who will talk to you. They tell you, oh, if you want, you tell us what happened. We record what you are talking as evidence to the judge. If you don't want to talk, no problem. You talk to a lawyer later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I can see that you have brilliant ideas and advice. Why don't you take those brilliant brain to Africa? Do you think it's useful?
It is too late. As I told you, to build a house, you put the foundation. You have no foundation. It can't work at all. Because people are very, very confused. They are not prepared.
What do you tell to the viewers?
Now, what I recommend to our fellow African who are in diaspora, really, we know from our heart the life back home. You know from our heart, you may think, oh, these guys are talking politics, blah, blah. But the politics, it is for the people. Democracy. People have to talk about politics. Because if we organize the election and we have bad leaders, they will manipulate us. So people have to talk about politics. Although you are not a politician, you have to talk about politics. You have to talk about politics. It is very, very necessary and it is important. Back home to Africa, everything is broken down. Africa is very rich. And first of all, for my understanding and thinking, I do brainstorming. The European came to make Africa to look like Europe, to look from any Western country or Europe country. But because our leaders, when they introduced them to politics, the European attended those our leaders, Eza Nyerere, Lumumba, Mandela, Jomo Kenyatta. They took them to Europe to train them, to prepare them to become leaders, to be strong leaders. Then the devil played in their mind that we find these people, they are forcing us to go to school. We have to go look after our animals in the bush. We kick them out, and we are not ready.
Okay.
That was the problem. Even like in the book of Genesis.
Stop.
You don't give a fuck who is it. That's the truth. But she's been drinking. A lot of people drinking milk. I don't complain.
Yeah, keep going.
Yes. So now, in the book of Genesis, God put Adam and Eve in a garden of Eden that to subdue, to take authority, to manage everything there. Now, because of the devil came in the mind of Eve. Oh no, pause.
Yeah, now you can talk.
Okay, yeah. Here, dear brothers, African brothers and sisters, the problem we're facing in Africa, political conflicts and wars, conflict, everything. It is compared to when in the book of Genesis, when God created Adam and Eve, they gave them responsibility to look after everything in the Garden of Eden. So, then, as you know, everyone knows about it. The serpent or the snake lied to Eve that eat on this fruit and will be wise and be like God. So, when those Europeans extended our leaders, those who claimed independence and freedom, they were very, very trained. Something played their mind and say, we are now enough in Africa. to teach ourselves and kick out the European or the Westerners. We kick them out, that we're gonna lead ourselves. We're gonna install the justice system, economy, everything, as you know. That's all the consequences we're facing. They gave us independence and we are not ready because of being arrogant and comparing yourself to the European. Because of the human right, they went to Congress and said, oh, certain country has independence. Another one, all African countries, they offer them independence because they don't want the European. They don't want to continue fighting. They're not gonna be like a genocide. Let them offer them independence. They are talking French, Swahili. They are very, very fluent in French language and French in English language. They're gonna start talking to the European, complaining and arguing with them. So they have to offer them independence. Now, any problem is gonna happen, political conflict or crisis, we leave them to them. Although the European may have influence to cause problem to Africa, but you can't see a European having a gun shooting African to African. White men to white men, to black men. You will see ourselves fighting each other now. It's like pointing a gun to your brother, you fight each other. But the influencer, it is European. But you can't see them. That's the system they put there. And when a leader is there, he stays on the power, he can't judge the power. He keeps sitting and the corruption, lying to people. Even like to put a school where the child can study how to write his name, his local language. We don't have that home back. We don't have that in Africa. When you're gonna organize election, no one knows the rules, the law, their rights. They don't know. They just manipulate them, distributing them food, the rice, beans, and soaps like that, and giving them small money. That is corruption. They don't know their right. They're gonna manipulate the mind. Someone who offered you the bread or 1 kilo of sugar or 1 kilo of milk, you're gonna vote him because you are struggling, you are starving, you have nowhere else you can find food. He's gonna manipulate your mind that vote me. The school will be for free. Your salary will be like this and this, giving promises which they can't fulfill. When they become on the power, you can't see him anymore walking on the street. But during the election campaign, you're gonna see him on the street doing the election campaign, while he just manipulating people. When he become leader, you can't see him. He has bodyguard. He has already bodyguard. You can't approach him. Even say hello, nothing to wave for him. You can't. If you do that, it is a crime. If you do that, it is a crime. That's the consequences.
Thanks, guys. Wow, I want to stop here for this interview, but next time we will make sure we do a proper interview when we have no interactions with us. But what we have told you, I hope you understood or you have understand what I have talked about. That's the challenging we are having in Africa. But please, we have to know what we can do. Only is to pray to our leaders. I thank you. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video to your fellow friends, and may God bless you. Thank you. What do you say to the viewers a little bit before we go? Say bye-bye.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Those who are back home to Africa anywhere, we wish you all the best. But we are very, very manipulated by the liars. They are liars. They are liars. Thank you.